The doctor's face told me everything before she even opened her mouth. I've gotten good at reading people's expressions over the years. You develop that skill when you grow up walking on eggshells. My name is Valentina, and I just found out I might die because my body is attacking itself. Funny how life works sometimes. The tests show an aggressive form of lupus, Dr. Marshall said, her voice gentle but firm. Without immediate treatment, your organs could start failing within months. I'm sorry, but we need to start therapy right away. I nodded, numb. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead as she explained treatment options, costs, and survival rates. I barely heard her. All I could think about was the family medical fund, the one my parents had set up for emergencies only after my grandmother passed away last year. How much? I finally managed to ask. She named a figure that made my stomach drop. But the fund should cover it. It had to. When I got home, Claire was sprawled across our parents' imported leather couch, phone held above her face as she recorded herself. And don't forget to smash that like button, besties. Your girl's got some major announcements coming up about the Italian influencer retreat. I waited until she finished before speaking. Is Mom home? I need to talk to everyone. Claire barely glanced up. They're in Dad's study, probably planning my travel logistics. She finally looked at me properly. God, you look awful. You should try that new filter I'm using. I found my parents exactly where Claire said. Mom was perched on Dad's desk, both of them hovering over a laptop. The hotel wants an additional deposit for Claire's suite, Mom was saying. But the views will be perfect for her content. Mom, Dad, I interrupted. I need to talk to you about something important. Dad barely looked up. Can it wait? We're finalizing Claire's retreat details. No, it can't. My voice cracked. I just came from the doctor. I have lupus. It's bad. I need to start treatment immediately. Mom's perfectly maintained eyebrows drew together. Oh, honey. Are you sure? You've always been prone to overreacting about health things. I have the test results right here. I pulled out the papers with shaking hands. Dr. Marshall says without treatment. Let me see those, Dad cut in, scanning the documents. These treatments are expensive. Have you looked into cheaper alternatives? That's why I'm here. The family medical fund should cover it. I can pay it back once. Mom and Dad exchanged a look that made my blood run cold. Sweetie, Mom started, we've had to make some adjustments to that fund. Claire's career is at a crucial point right now. This retreat could make her the next big thing. I stared at them. You use the emergency medical fund for Claire's influencer retreat? Now don't be dramatic, Dad said in that dismissive tone I knew too well. Claire needs to maintain a certain image. These opportunities don't come around often. As if summoned, Claire appeared in the doorway. Daddy, the retreat organizers need the final payment today. Oh, and I need new luggage for all the gifting suite items. I walked out. They didn't even notice. At the bank, the truth hit harder than the diagnosis. The fund was empty, every penny gone. I'm sorry, Ms. Carter, the teller said. The last withdrawal was made 3 days ago. Something about social media marketing expenses? I sat in my car in the parking lot, hands gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. My phone buzzed, a text from Claire. Don't be jealous just because I'm actually doing something with my life. You can't expect Mom and Dad to keep babying you forever. Another buzz. This time, an email notification. Urgent. Estate of Gianna Mason. Immediate attention required. I almost deleted it thinking it was spam, but something made me open it. Dear Ms. Valentina Carter, as per the final wishes of your grandmother, Gianna Mason, this letter serves as official notification that you have been named sole signatory and controller of the Mason Family Trust, effective immediately. This includes all associated accounts, properties, and investments currently supporting the Carter family estate. Please contact our office to arrange a private meeting regarding your grandmother's additional instructions. Regards, James Morton, estate attorney. I read it 3 times before it sank in. Then I started laughing, the kind of laugh that borders on crying. Grandma always said karma comes to those who wait. I just never expected her to be karma's delivery service. My phone buzzed again. Dad, probably about Claire's luggage budget. I turned off my phone and started the car. I had a meeting to schedule with Mr. Morton. Sometimes the best revenge isn't serving a cold dish. It's slowly turning off the heat and watching them realize they're freezing. The Mason Trust's office lobby hadn't changed since I was a kid. Same mahogany panels, same pretentious oil paintings, same leather chairs that squeaked when you sat down. But this time, I wasn't here to wait while Mom discussed family matters with the trustees. Val, is that really you? I turned to find Landon, my old next-door neighbor who'd spent summers teaching me chess while Claire practiced her pageant walks. He wore a suit now, but his eyes still had that same mischievous glint. You work here? I asked. Managing director of estate portfolios, he grinned. Come on, I'll walk you to Morton's office. We have a lot to catch up on. As we walked, a memory hit me. Claire's sweet 16 party. She'd demanded a white horse for her entrance. Remember when Claire made your parents rent that Lipizan stallion? Landon asked, as if reading my mind. Cost them what? 20 grand for a 2-hour rental? 30. The horse pooped on the lawn and she needed emergency landscaping before her photo shoot. We reached Morton's office, but Landon touched my arm before I could enter. I saw the trust transfer notice this morning. Your grandmother. She knew exactly what she was doing. Morton was already waiting, documents spread across his desk. Ms. Valentina, please sit down. Your grandmother left very specific instructions. He slid a folder toward me. Inside was a handwritten letter. My dearest Val, they never saw you clearly, but I did. The quiet one, the watchful one, the one who counts cards but pretends to lose at poker. You have more strength than all of them combined. Everything is yours now. Use it wisely. Love, Grandma Gianna. The trust controls everything, Morton explained. The house mortgage, your father's business loans, your mother's credit lines. Even Claire's influencer expenses are processed through subsidiary accounts. How much? I whispered. He named a figure that made me dizzy. You could buy the house right out from under them if you wanted, Landon added from the doorway. He hadn't left. My phone buzzed. Claire had posted a new Instagram story. Living my best life. Can't wait to show you besties my new summer wardrobe. Blessed that your family support. The caption read, Thank you, Daddy, for always believing in my dreams. Another memory surfaced. Me, at 17, clutching an acceptance letter from Yale. We can't afford 2 college tuitions, Dad had said. Claire needs to focus on her modeling career. I ended up at community college. Claire got a personal stylist. Show me everything, I told Morton. Every account, every transaction, every dependency. For the next hour, he walked me through it all. The trust was like a spider's web, with threads connecting to every aspect of my family's carefully curated lifestyle. Your grandmother added an interesting clause, Morton said, pointing to a paragraph. Any attempt to contest your control automatically triggers a complete freeze of all associated accounts. My phone buzzed again. Mom this time. Claire needs her retreat deposit today. Handle the transfer, will you? You're so good with boring money things. They didn't even know I'd been to the doctor. What's the process for initiating an audit? I asked Morton. He raised an eyebrow. Simple enough, though it would temporarily suspend all automatic payments while accounts are reviewed. Do it. Val, Landon said softly. Are you sure? This could... They used my medical fund for Claire's Instagram career. My voice was steady, while I was sitting in a doctor's office being told I could die. Landon's expression hardened. I'll expedite the audit myself. I signed where Morton indicated. It felt like signing a declaration of war. Walking out, I checked my phone. 3 missed calls from Dad. A text popped up. The bank's showing some issue with transfers. Fix it immediately. Claire's crying. Another memory. Me crying in the hospital at 12, scared and in pain from what would later be diagnosed as the first lupus flare. Mom was at Claire's dance recital. "You'll have to tough it out, sweetie. We can't miss Claire's solo." I typed back, "Sorry, in a meeting. I'm sure it's just a technical glitch." Landon walked me to my car. "The audit notification will hit their accounts in about an hour. Want to grab coffee and watch the fireworks?" I smiled, thinking of Claire's perfect Instagram feed, Dad's carefully maintained image, Mom's social status, all built on Grandma's money, all now under my control. "Can't," I said. "I have a medical appointment to schedule, but keep me posted?" He nodded, understanding in his eyes. "They never saw you coming, did they?" "No," I replied, starting my car. "They were too busy watching Claire." My phone started ringing again. Dad's name flashed on the screen. I hit decline and drove away. Dinner at my parents' house had always been a performance, but tonight's show was particularly entertaining. Mom's hands shook as she passed the salad bowl. Dad kept checking his phone under the table. And Claire? She hadn't touched her food, too busy texting her manager Marcus about the payment processing error. "I just don't understand," Mom said for the third time. "The accounts were fine yesterday." I speared a cherry tomato. "Maybe Mercury's in retrograde." "This isn't funny, Valentina," Dad snapped. "Claire's retreat deposit is due and nothing's going through. Even my golf club payment bounced." "Daddy," Claire whined, "Marcus says if we don't confirm payment by midnight, they'll give my spot to Kylie Matthews. She has half my followers." I took a sip of water, hiding my smile. "That sounds stressful." Mom set down her fork with a clang. "You know, Valentina, I've been thinking. Maybe you should see Dr. Peterson again." "The therapist? You've been off lately. First these dramatic health claims, now this strange attitude. Dr. Peterson helped with your attention-seeking phases before." I remembered Dr. Peterson, the therapist they'd sent me to after I'd tried telling our family friends about Claire stealing my college fund. "Making up stories," they'd called it. "I'm fine, Mom, but thanks for your concern about my health." Finally, Claire's phone chimed. Her face went pale. "Marcus says the retreat organizers are asking about my sponsorship verification. What does that even mean?" "It means they're checking if your engagement numbers are real," I explained helpfully. "Standard audit procedure." Dad's head snapped up. "Audit? Oh, didn't you get the notice? The Mason Trust is under review. Something about irregular spending patterns." I reached for the bread. "Pass the butter?" The silence was delicious. "How do you know about the trust?" Mom's voice had gone high and tight. "Grandma's lawyer called. Apparently there were some instructions in her will." Claire slammed her phone down. "This is ridiculous. I have 1 million followers waiting for my Italy content. I can't let Kylie Matthews take my spot." "1 million followers?" I pulled out my phone. "That's weird. According to this analytics report Marcus just posted, you have about 300,000, and half of those look like bot accounts." "You're just jealous!" Claire shrieked. "You've always been jealous because I'm actually successful while you waste your life being sick all the time." "Claire," Dad warned, but I cut him off. "You know what's funny? When I was diagnosed with lupus this week, you remember the dramatic health claims, I actually thought you might care. Stupid me, right?" Mom's wine glass froze halfway to her lips. "Diagnosed?" Stage 4 lupus. Could be fatal without treatment. But hey, at least Claire's getting her Instagram retreat, right? That's what emergency medical funds are for. Dad stood up so fast his chair fell backward. "What did you do?" I stood too, matching his stance. "I didn't do anything. Yet. But since you're asking, Grandma made me sole controller of the trust. Every penny you're spending, that's my signature you need now." Claire burst into tears. Not the pretty kind she used in her videos. The ugly, mascara-running kind. "Daddy, do something." "We'll call the lawyers," he threatened. "Your grandmother wasn't in her right mind." "Try it. The trust has an automatic freeze clause if contested. But you knew that, right? Since you read all the documents so carefully before spending my medical fund?" Mom reached for me. Sweetie, let's not be hasty. We can talk about this. Like we talked about Yale, or my first hospitalization, or every time Claire needed something and I needed to understand. My phone buzzed. A text from Landon. Second wave of audits hitting tomorrow. You sure about this? You're being hysterical, Mom said, using her therapy voice. This isn't like you. I laughed. Actually, this is exactly like me. You just never bothered to notice. Claire was frantically calling Marcus. Dad was already on the phone with his lawyer. Mom looked like she might faint. I grabbed my bag and headed for the door. Don't worry about dinner. I'm sure Claire can post about it on Instagram. #blessed to family drama. #karma sabitch. Valentina, Dad's voice boomed. If you walk out that door, you'll what? Cut me off? Good luck with that. I paused in the doorway, looking back at their stunned faces. Oh, and Claire? Kylie Matthews says hi. We had coffee this morning. Lovely girl. Very interested in hearing about influencer fraud techniques. The door slammed behind me with a satisfying thud. Through the window, I could see Claire having a full meltdown, Mom reaching for her anxiety pills, and Dad turning an interesting shade of purple. I texted Landon back, absolutely sure. Send the auditors. Sometimes the best revenge is simply holding up a mirror and letting them see themselves clearly for the first time. Marcus called at 7 a.m., his usual smooth-talking voice tinged with desperation. Valentina, hey, long time no chat. Listen, about this audit situation. Hello, Marcus. Busy morning. I heard Beauty Blitz is reviewing their influencer partnerships. A pause. Look, I know you and Claire have your differences, but this retreat could really launch her career. Maybe we could discuss this over coffee? I checked my email. 3 new notifications from the Trust's audit team. Sorry, I have a medical appointment. Pesky autoimmune disease, you know how it is. Oh wait, you don't, because my family spent my treatment fund on your client's retreat. That's unfortunate, but surely we can work something out. Claire really values your relationship as sisters. Really? Is that why she's been live streaming about her toxic family drama for the past hour? Another pause. She's upset. You understand. Between us, I could make it worth your while to release the funds. I know people in the industry. You mean like the people at Social Boost who inflate follower counts? Or the ones who help hide sponsorship earnings from the IRS? The silence on his end was perfect. Interesting thing about audit trails, Marcus. They don't just follow the money, they follow the data too. Are you threatening me? I'm stating facts. Claire gave you access to her laptop last month, didn't she? The one with all the trust documents? Click. Call ended. I switched to Claire's live stream, where she was having a mascara-streaked meltdown. And my own sister is trying to ruin my career because she's like literally so jealous? I worked so hard for my followers. The comments were scrolling fast. Wait, aren't those Gucci bags fake? Didn't you say your dad owned that yacht? Your engagement rates look botted, TBH. My phone buzzed. Landon. Beauty Blitz pulled their contract. Wanna guess who sent them Claire's real analytics? I smiled, opening my laptop to check the trust accounts. Dad's golf club membership, suspended. Mom's personal shopper account, frozen. Claire's emergency credit card, declined at Gucci an hour ago. A notification popped up. Claire had started another live stream. I just want to be real with you guys. Yes, sometimes we use engagement tools to boost visibility. That's totally normal in the industry. And okay, maybe the yacht was borrowed, but the comments were brutal. You lied to us. Unfollowing, rich girl faker. My phone rang again. Dad. Whatever you're doing, stop it now. His voice shook with rage. Your mother can barely get out of bed. Claire's sponsors are pulling out. My business partners are asking questions. Questions like, why did you empty your daughter's medical fund for Instagram photos? Those kinds of questions. I am your father. And I'm your daughter, the one dying of lupus. Funny how that works. He switched tactics. We can figure out your medical situation, but if you destroy Claire's career, her career, I laughed. You mean her carefully curated lie? Tell me, Dad, does it bother you that you spent my entire college fund on Claire's fake life? You're being hysterical. There's that word again, hysterical. You know what's really hysterical? How quickly an influencer empire falls when someone looks at the real numbers. Claire's latest live stream had gone viral, for all the wrong reasons. Fake influencer was trending. My phone lit up with a text from Marcus. We need to talk. I have information you might want to hear. Then Mom, please stop this madness. We're family. Then Claire, I hate you, you're ruining everything. I turned off my phone and opened my grandmother's journal, found in her study after the will reading. The last entry caught my eye again. My dearest Val, they called you hysterical when you were just honest. They called you difficult when you were just hurt. They called you dramatic when you were dying. But I saw you counting cards at family poker nights, letting them think they were winning. You're not hysterical, my girl. You're strategic. And now it's your turn to deal the cards. My laptop chimed. An email from Beauty Blitz's legal team requesting all documentation of Claire's engagement manipulation. I attached the files Landon had helped me compile. Every fake follower purchase, every hidden sponsorship deal, every manipulated engagement rate. Send. Sometimes revenge isn't about destroying someone's life, it's about removing the lies they built it on. My phone buzzed one final time. A reminder, first treatment session tomorrow. I'd be paying for it myself, with money from the trust that was supposed to fund Claire's fake Italian summer. Karma really does have a sense of humor. The door to my apartment burst open at 6 a.m. Mom stormed in like a designer-clad hurricane, her perfect makeup unable to hide the wild look in her eyes. "Fix this mess!" she shrieked, waving her phone. "Claire's lost half her followers. The country club is asking about our membership dues. Your father can't sleep." I calmly sipped my coffee. "How did you get in?" "I had a key made months ago, in case of emergencies." "Like this emergency?" I held up my medical papers. "Or just Claire emergencies?" She sank onto my couch, deflating slightly. "Your grandmother was senile. She couldn't have meant to give you this much power. You don't understand how these things work." "Actually, I do. Want to see the trust documents? The ones showing how you've been draining my medical fund for years?" "That money was for family emergencies." "I'm dying, Mom. That's not emergency enough?" She flinched. "Don't be dramatic. There are payment plans for medical things. Claire's career is time-sensitive." "Was time-sensitive," I corrected. "Beauty Blitz dropped her this morning. Apparently they don't like influencers who fake their numbers." Mom's face went pale. "You vindictive little—" My phone buzzed. "Landon, your father's lawyer just filed a petition to contest the trust. Want me to trigger the freeze?" "Do it," I texted back. Mom's phone chimed immediately. Her hand shook as she read the notification. "What did you do?" "I didn't do anything. Dad's lawyer did. By contesting the trust, he activated Grandma's automatic freeze clause. All accounts suspended pending review." "You can't do this to us. We're your family." "Family?" I stood up, fury finally breaking through my calm. Where was family when I needed my first treatment? Where was family when Claire stole my college fund? Where was family every time I was being dramatic about my symptoms? "I was protecting you. The world is harsh, Valentina. Claire needs to learn actions have consequences. So do you." A commotion in the hallway interrupted us. Dad burst in, followed by a man in an expensive suit. "There she is," Dad pointed at me. "Do it." The lawyer cleared his throat. "Ms. Valentina, I have here a petition claiming your grandmother was mentally unfit when—" I walked to my desk, pulled out a document, and held it up. "You mean this petition? The one you filed exactly 6 minutes ago?" Dad's face reddened. "How did you—" "I have friends at the court. Good ones. They fax things quickly." I handed the lawyer another document. "This is your copy of Grandma's last psychiatric evaluation, dated 1 week before the trust transfer. Completely sound mind. Verified by 3 separate doctors. The lawyer scanned it, his expression dropping. Mr. Carter, you didn't mention this. There's more, I added sweetly. Would you like to see the video Grandma recorded explaining her decision? Or the notarized letters from her entire medical team? Mom started crying. Not Claire's practiced Instagram tears, real, ugly sobs. You're destroying everything, Dad shouted. The business, Claire's future. No, I cut him off. You did that. When you decided my life was worth less than Claire's social media career. My phone buzzed again. A news alert. Rising influencer Claire Carter exposed for fake engagement scandal. Dad's lawyer quietly gathered his papers. I'll review these documents and be in touch. After he left, Mom tried one last time. Sweetie, please, we can work something out. Family counseling, maybe? I start chemotherapy tomorrow. Real treatment, not the bargain version you suggested. Paid for by the trust you tried to steal from me. I opened my door. Get out. You ungrateful, Dad began, but Mom grabbed his arm. We'll fix this, she said, as she dragged him out. You'll see reason eventually. After they left, I found Grandma's journal again. A page fell out. One I hadn't noticed before. Val, if you're reading this, they've probably called you ungrateful by now. Remember, gratitude is earned, not demanded. And power? Power is taken by those smart enough to wait for the right moment. I watched you grow up wearing a mask of submission while your mind stayed sharp as a razor. Now show them what you can do when the mask comes off. All my love, Grandma. My phone lit up. Landon again. Marcus is talking to reporters. Says he has dirt on the family. I smiled, thinking of the folder I'd compiled on Marcus's own financial fraud. The one I'd sent to his other clients this morning. Let him talk, I texted back. Some people need to learn the hard way that karma has perfect aim. I looked at my treatment schedule for tomorrow, then at the trust accounts I now controlled. Claire's retreat money would cover 3 months of therapy. Funny how things work out. The pieces fell into place during my first chemotherapy session. I was scrolling through emails when I noticed something odd. Login attempts to my trust account from an unfamiliar IP address. Your sister's boyfriend accessed your laptop last month, Landon said when I called him. Remember when Claire borrowed it to check her emails? Marcus. Of course. I pulled up the security logs while the chemo dripped into my veins. There it was. Multiple file transfers during the 15 minutes Claire had my laptop. He copied everything, I told Landon. Trust documents, account numbers, Grandma's letters. That explains how your father's lawyer knew where to look for leverage. Landon's voice hardened. Want me to handle it? No, I have a better idea. I hung up and opened Marcus's influencer management company website. Funny how people who hide secrets often have the most to lose themselves. 3 hours and one anonymous tip to the IRS later, Marcus's carefully constructed house of cards began to collapse. My phone buzzed with notifications. Breaking. Major influencer manager accused of tax fraud. Social media agency under investigation for affiliate scheme. Multiple influencers come forward about management scam. Claire called immediately. What did you do to Marcus? Me? Nothing. The IRS, however. He's not answering my calls. The retreat organizers want their deposit back, my sponsors are jumping ship, and now his company is under investigation? Karma's having a busy week. She hesitated. He said he had dirt on you, from your laptop. I know. Tell him thanks for that, by the way. It helped me figure out exactly where to point the auditors. Claire's voice cracked. I didn't know he was going to save it. You knew exactly what you were doing when you let him access my computer. A commotion erupted in the background of Claire's call. I heard Mom's voice. The bank is on the phone. Everything's frozen. I have to go, Claire said quickly. Mom's having some kind of breakdown. I ended the call and checked the news again. Marcus's company was trending, and not in a good way. Former clients were coming forward with stories of manipulation, hidden fees, and fraudulent brand deals. Landon texted, Marcus just tried to access the trust accounts again. Amateur. Block him permanently, I replied, and send everything to his other clients. My phone rang. Dad. For God's sake, he pleaded, keep the family name out of this scandal. Your mother can't take much more. Should have thought about scandals before you built Claire's career on fake numbers. We can make a deal, whatever you want. I laughed. I already have what I want, control. People are talking. Our reputation is exactly as real as Claire's follower count. He hung up. Seconds later, my phone exploded with notifications. Claire had gone live again. And I know people are saying things, but my numbers are totally real. Well, mostly real. I mean, everyone buys some followers, right? And okay, maybe some of the brand deals weren't exactly, but that's Marcus's fault. He handled everything. The comments were ruthless. Caught in 4K. Rich girl fake life exposed. This family drama is better than Netflix. A text from Landon. Your mom just tried to access her emergency credit line. Declined. Then breaking news. Luxury influencer Claire admits to fraud. Everyone does it. My nurse came to unhook my IV. All done for today. How are you feeling? Better than my family, I smiled. Outside the hospital, I checked my email one last time. A message from Marcus. We should talk. I have documents that could hurt you. I forwarded it to my lawyer with one line. Add witness tampering to the IRS report. My phone buzzed again. Mom had texted a single line. You've destroyed everything. No, I thought. I just showed everyone what was already broken. I drove past our family home on my way back to my apartment. Mom's precious imported roses were wilting. No gardener since the accounts froze. Dad's luxury car was missing from the driveway. Probably at the dealership, trying to sell it for quick cash. Claire's latest live stream was still going, but the tears looked real this time. And I don't know what I'm going to do. Marcus won't call back, my sponsors are gone, and my own sister. I turned it off and opened Grandma's journal instead. The truth isn't always pretty, Val, but it's always worth showing. Let them see themselves clearly, even if it hurts. My phone lit up with a final notification. Influencer Management Agency CEO Marcus steps down amid federal investigation. Sometimes the best revenge isn't just exposing lies, it's watching truth do the work for you. The foreclosure notice arrived on a Tuesday. I watched from my car as Mom crumpled against the front door, the official paper shaking in her manicured hands. Dad's business had finally collapsed under the weight of frozen assets and unpaid loans. My phone buzzed. Claire. Marcus ghosted me. I'm living in his apartment, but he's not answering calls. Please, I need help. I clicked ignore and opened my email. The foundation paperwork was ready. All it needed was my signature. The Gianna Mason Foundation for Autoimmune Research and Support, I read aloud, savoring each word. Landon's car pulled up beside mine. Ready for this? Almost. I watched as Dad arrived home, his once pristine suit wrinkled. He helped Mom up, both of them looking decades older than they had a month ago. They're selling the artwork, Landon reported, and Mom's designer bags still won't cover half their debts. My phone lit up with notifications. Claire had posted again. Life update, moving back home. Sometimes we have to be humble and restart. Blessed Hastosher growth. Your family first. The comments were merciless. Didn't your family lose everything? Back to reality check. Karma came collecting. She doesn't know they're being foreclosed, I told Landon. Should be an interesting homecoming. We drove to the foundation's new offices, formerly Grandma's estate building. The banner was ready to be unveiled, and reporters were gathering. Your family's here, Landon whispered as we walked in. They stood in the lobby, Mom, Dad, and Claire. They looked like extras from a tragedy play. Mom's roots showing through her expensive dye job, Dad's shoulders slumped, Claire's designer clothes wrinkled from living out of a suitcase. What is this? Dad demanded, but his voice lacked its usual authority. The future of Grandma's money, I said. The one you all thought you controlled. The foundation's director stepped forward. "We're ready for the announcement, Ms. Valentina." Claire grabbed my arm. "Please, I lost everything. My followers, my sponsors, my boyfriend. I had to move out of Marcus's place today. I need—" What I needed? I cut her off. "When I was dying and you took my medical fund for your fake influencer lifestyle? I didn't know about your condition, about Marcus stealing from your laptop, about any of it. But you knew about the medical fund. You all did." Mom stepped forward. "We can fix this. As a family." "Family?" I laughed. "Let me show you what family really means." I nodded to the director. The banner unfurled. "The Gianna Mason Foundation for Autoimmune Research and Support, providing hope and treatment for those failed by their support systems." Dad's face went ash white. "That money, all of it?" "Every penny that would have funded another year of Claire's fake life is now funding real treatment for people like me." I turned to the gathering crowd of reporters. People whose families chose appearances over survival. "You can't?" Dad started. "Actually, I can, and I did. Grandma made sure of that." The cameras started flashing as I stepped up to the podium. Mom sank into a chair. Claire stood frozen. And Dad. Dad finally looked at me. Really looked at me, maybe for the first time. "My name is Valentina," I began, facing the reporters. "And I'm here to tell you about medical discrimination, family betrayal, and how one woman's foresight is changing lives." The story poured out, all of it. The medical fund, the gaslighting, the years of being dismissed as dramatic while Claire was glorified. With each word, I watched my family shrink smaller. "The Foundation's first initiative," I concluded, "will provide full treatment funding for 50 patients with autoimmune conditions, paid for by what was once called the Claire Fund in my family's budget." The reporters erupted with questions. Through the chaos, I heard Claire's broken whisper. "I never meant. I didn't think." "That's the problem," I told her. "You never did." Security arrived to escort my family out. As they left, Mom turned back one last time. "We're still your family." "No," I said quietly. "You're my cautionary tale." Later, watching the news coverage with Landon, I felt strangely empty. Not sad, not triumphant, just free. "Your grandmother would be proud," he said, showing me the Foundation's website. Donation offers were already pouring in. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Saw the news. I have lupus too. Thank you for fighting back. You're not alone." Then another. And another. Messages from people like me, finally seeing their stories reflected back. I thought of Claire's empty Instagram feed, Dad's vacant office, Mom's unused credit cards. All the hollow things they'd chosen over me. "No," I replied to the text. "None of us are alone anymore. Sometimes the best revenge isn't destroying your enemies. It's building something beautiful from the ruins they left behind." The last box from my parents' house sat unopened in Grandma's study, now my office at the Foundation. Through the window, I watched autumn leaves scatter across the courtyard, where construction workers were installing a new accessibility ramp. My phone buzzed. Claire had posted her first TikTok in weeks. My truth about family toxicity. The comments were disabled. "Ready for your treatment?" Landon asked from the doorway. "Almost. Just need to finish this." I opened the box. Inside lay childhood photos, report cards, and at the bottom, my old diary. The one Mom had called dramatic and attention-seeking. A knock at my door interrupted my thoughts. Sarah, our Foundation's first grant recipient, stood there with her IV pole. "Sorry to bother you," she said, "but I wanted to show you something." She held up her phone. Claire's TikTok was playing. And yes, I had everything, but I never saw what it cost others. My sister needed medical treatment while I was buying followers and faking brand deals. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm asking other influencers to check their privilege. "She's actually admitting it," Sarah said. "Your story helped me stand up to my own family about my lupus treatment." My phone rang. "Mom, what do you want?" I answered. "I'm selling my wedding ring," she said quietly, "for the foundation's donation drive. Keep it. We don't need—" "Please," she interrupted. "Let me do one right thing." I hung up and opened my laptop. Dad had emailed, "I found your old Yale acceptance letter while clearing out the house. I was wrong. About everything. The new apartment is small, but if you ever want to talk, delete." "Your next treatment's scheduled," Landon reminded me. "The clinical trial results are looking good." I picked up Grandma's journal one last time. A photo fell out, young me playing chess while Claire posed for cameras in the background. "Ms. Valentina?" My assistant poked her head in. "The support group is waiting, and reporters want comments on Marcus's guilty plea." "Tell them karma speaks for itself." Sarah smiled. "That should be the foundation's motto." My phone lit up again. A text from Claire. "Moving to Seattle. Starting over. For real this time. No filters." I didn't reply. Instead, I walked to the support group meeting room. 20 people with IV poles and tired eyes looked back at me. Real people. Real stories. No Instagram filters. "Welcome," I said. "Let's talk about being heard when everyone says you're just being dramatic." The session ran long. Nobody minded. These were people who understood what it meant to fight invisible battles while families looked away. Afterward, Landon found me in Grandma's study again. "Your mother's ring sold at auction," he said. "Enough to fund 3 more treatments." "Add it to the general fund," I replied. "No earmarks." "And Claire's TikTok is trending. People are calling it a wake-up call for influencer culture." I finally opened my old diary. The first page read, "Nobody believes me when I say I'm sick. Maybe I'm crazy like they say." "You're not crazy," Sarah said from the doorway. "None of us are." My phone buzzed one last time. Dad again. "The house sells tomorrow. Found this in the attic." The attached photo showed a chess trophy. My first win. Claire's pageant crowns had always hidden it on the shelf. I closed the diary and faced my reflection in Grandma's old mirror. No more hiding. No more doubting. "Ready for treatment?" Landon asked again. "Yes," I said. "And after that we have grant applications to review." Sarah wheeled her IV pole closer. "Can I help? Someone should represent the crazy dramatic ones." I laughed. Real laughter. Not the kind I used to practice to please my family. "You know what Grandma would say?" I picked up her chess set from the desk. "Sometimes the quietest pieces on the board make the biggest moves." "Your family?" Landon asked carefully. "Will you ever—" "They're learning what I learned," I said, setting up the chess pieces. "Sometimes losing everything shows you what you really had." Sarah studied the board. "Queen's opening?" "Always," I smiled. "It's the piece everyone underestimates until it's too late." Outside, more leaves fell. More patients arrived. More stories waited to be heard. I moved my queen across the board. Sometimes winning isn't about the game you're playing. It's about changing the rules everyone took for granted. And sometimes the best endings aren't about forgiveness. They're about finding your own voice in the silence where apologies should have been. Checkmate.